starting another adventure in the Dolomites. And we're just into Blue Hour, and we've come to Lago Di Braies. Super tourist spot, which is usually very busy in the summer. You usually have to, in summer, get a ticket to even get on the road to come down here. But it looks like all the other cars in this car park frosted up. Probably one of the first ones here. But we're well into the off season. So, bag, coffee, cameras, fingers crossed. We're about 700 meters lower in altitude than we were in the first video around Falzarego and Passo Giau. Maybe even like 900 from some of the places we were taking photos. Fingers crossed, some of these larch trees still have their pine needles on. I can see a few of them are orange around me. Maybe some of them are yellow, but fingers crossed we've still got some colour. So, let's go. We've made the 2, maybe 1.5 minute walk from the car park out to here. And a few things I've noticed. The lake is a lot more full than we came in, I think it was September 4 years ago, which is nice. A lot more water. It's very still. However, the boats aren't out, probably because we are in off season. So those nice boat shots we're not necessarily going to get. The larch trees are orange, so they're probably in their last week or so before they shed all of their needles. And it's starting to light up a little. So I think we're just going to have a wander around, see what we can see, take some photos, and then get the hell out of here before thousands of other tourists turn up. So sunrise has passed, and now it's getting really difficult to take photos because the sun is coming up in that area up there. It's starting to come through, and hopefully will light up some of the trees on the right hand side here as I'm looking at it. So I've had to use some really heavy brackets, maybe +2 EV, plus or -3 EV, because it's so dark in here, because these mountains either side doesn't really get a lot of light during sunrise or sunset. And it's very photogenic, right? Obviously that's why lots of people come here. I'm going to show you some photos from the drone. I'm going to show you some photos from some wide angle shots. If you're standing on the shore down here, even at 16mm, I was struggling to get everything that I wanted in terms of both the reflections of that mountain there and in the bottom. So to get that full reflection is quite difficult. And I put the long lens on and I'm zooming into some of the reflections and getting some more close-in shots, which actually look quite nice. And I'm preferring those to the wide angle shots at the moment, probably because there aren't any boats on the lake because we're out of season. But hey, this is what it is. And let's skip to the photos.
This is what it looks like with the boats in the late afternoon, taken way back in 2019 on our first road trip in the Dolomites. You can see the sun sets to the right when you're looking out from the boathouse. But back to the current day, next to the path there's a well-worn vantage point in the trees, which is where I took this shot from just before light started to spill into the valley on the left. When the sun finally came in, I took this at 300mm, a lovely diagonal ledge of trees catching their first rays of the day. And finally, this is probably one of my favourite shots, with the tree roots on the right, path leading through to the boathouse, and an incredible background. It has lots of elements here which is needed for a solid composition. Before the hordes of other tourists arrived, it was quiet enough to put the drone up and capture the majesty of this location, with the morning sun finally starting to light up the eastern shore. It's not just the boathouse and boats that make great subjects here. Although they are an Instagram favourite, the surrounding trees and valleys are equally as epic as the beautiful hues of the lake. Onto the drone shots. And this is a 9-shot wide-angle panorama. Unfortunately, the left-hand trees and car park on the right aren't that aesthetically pleasing, but a generous crop sorts that problem out. Then it was on to picking out more intimate frames, backlit trees, looking straight down, focusing on patterns and colours, and zooming into the church which sits on the shoreline. After sunrise, as more people started arriving, it was time to head back out to grab some lunch and visit another couple of lakes. Both are roadside locations with paid parking and are relatively close to each other. The first shot is from Lago di Landro, and the second, slightly bigger lake with more facilities, is Lago di Braies. I just love the colour of the water, the light and the autumnal trees in these two shots.
Okay, walk backwards. Still track me. There we go. It is sunset time, about an hour away from sunset, and the sky has very few high clouds in, so they will light up, but not moody epic. But the light is okay. We've just been down to Misurina, where we went 4 years ago, and the conditions were not ideal. The lake was just rippling, so no reflections, no clouds in the sky. The last shot I got when we were last year was so much better. There was moody clouds, they were lighting up with the sunset, so I'll show you that photo now. We quickly left Misurina and drove the 3 minutes, whatever it was, to come up to Lago Antorno, and that is the back of Tre Cime. And it's currently lighting up with the last of the day's light. There's a nice little bridge over there, a few photographers around, very nice still lake. So maybe we'll get some nice shots here, but this is going to be our sunset location for the day. Nice and easy because I'm pretty tired after getting up early to go to Lago Di Braies for sunrise. So I think the compositions here are going to be reflections in the lake, maybe some foreground with some blurry reeds. There is a bridge there, but I'm not quite sure how to really bring that in and make it look quite nice. I wasn't sure last time I was here, but now I'm here again. We'll see. But nice light on the back of Tre Cime, lake, pretty still, should be a good recipe for a nice photo. Oh, I forgot to say, when I was down in Misurina just now, there was these clouds that had rainbows through them. I've never seen anything like it. So I got the old telephoto bad boy out to try and zoom in. I got a couple of the mountain peaks, maybe with some trees at the bottom. So foreground, midground, and the sky with these wispy clouds that had rainbows in them. I'm not sure how the photos are going to turn out. It's mad. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, look beautiful.
Iridescent clouds, or rainbow clouds, are created by ice crystals in the cloud diffracting the sunlight. Every day's a school day.
I think I've got a nice composition here. I'm shooting in portrait, and in the top third I've got the back of Tre Cime, which is lighting up with the golden hour sun. In the mid-ground I've sort of got the trees and the reflection of Tre Cime in the lake, and in the foreground I've got, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's like reeds and plants in the water. A lot of these leaves are just sitting underneath the water and they look quite nice, so I'm using that as a foreground. So I've got a bit of nice light. Got a foreground, mid-ground, background, main subject, telling a story. Hopefully it'll be a nice photo, but we'll see. I am actually focus stacking. I'm shooting at f/22 and I'm still focus stacking, doing one background focus stack and one foreground focus stack, and hopefully I've got enough there. Maybe I should do a foreground, mid-ground, background, but I don't want to fill up too many SD cards.
The best focus stack I took was at Blue Hour. That foreground turned out just as I wanted it to. I'm so pleased. As the sun was setting, I turned my focus onto Cadini Di Misurina and the classic orange mountainsides, typical of a Dolomite sunset. I'm sure it's not just me that loves a big ancient rock, especially when the softer light at each end of the day accentuate its form and features. Just before leaving for dinner, I had to get the moon included in my final shots. Buongiorno. We've just driven up the Tre Cime pass. Got a little ticket, went through the barrier, and it is 5 o'clock in the morning. Super dark, so many stars. I forgot how many stars were up here. This is our third visit in 5 years. This time, we're not going to Tre Cime this morning. We're going to go that way to Cadini Di Misurina. There's that viewpoint with the ski jump, very Instagram. Really want that shot, so I'm going to go and get it. But I've heard there are many, many really good views from up on that ridge, across the Dolomites, across the peaks. So, yeah, it's freezing, so I'm going to turn this off and put my jacket on, some feet warmers, some big socks, and we're going to go hike for a sunrise.
We made it up and we made sunrise. Actually, sunrise was a couple of hours ago, but we've been shooting since then. So we've come to the Instagram spot with the ski ramp front, which is actually on the path below us at the moment. We're up on the plateau. And sort of end of blue hour, start of golden hour, we got some shots there. I've had the drone up, as you might have already seen some B-roll, or I'm about to show you some great B-roll from there. We were the first couple here. Then there was another 2 couples that joined shortly afterwards. But then that was about it until the sun was properly out. So the walk across is about 40 minutes, and that's with my heavy camera bag and my little hobbit legs. So it's not a hard walk. It's just a little bit difficult to find the right paths in the dark. So there are 2 forks that you should take the right-hand path if you want the safest route. First fork, definitely go right, because if you go left, that trail has trailed off, and I think there's been some landslides and it's fallen down. And the second fork in the road, you can take the left-hand path, and I think it brings you around the edge of this here. So it's not too bad. And we might just do that on the way back. We just didn't do it on the way out because it was frosty, slippy, and icy. And below here is where you take the path down to then go under where I'm standing right now to go and shoot up there. From the path below, you're sort of standing on the edge of this thing here, and just below where I am down here on the lower path is where we were standing to shoot with the camera on a tripod. However, ideally you want to line yourself up with this scree that's coming down the middle here, and that's really difficult to do from the path. So actually what I did while Kaz was up there is I came back onto this ridge here and got the telephoto lens on. I think I was probably shooting about 70-100. I'll tell you when I'm actually showing you the photos in a minute what focal lengths I was shooting at. And then I also put the drone up to try and get behind a little bit better, because it is very steep as you go down that way. But that's the classic Instagram shot. I'm going to try to show you the shots as I took them through the morning, so you can see the colours and haze changing as the sun rises. Starting off with the well overdone composition of the ski jump. Actually, you can see where we all started queuing on the right hand side here. Taken from the path on the right at 50mm, getting those amazing dawn colours, but it's not quite the clean central composition I was looking for. The second shot is a 24mm HDR shot with the drone, and I'm finally smack bang in the middle and lined up with that scree. Then the shot from the path at the back taken at just over 70mm, getting that nice compression, bringing the background in closer to Kaz, standing in the middle. The magenta coloured dawn shots continue with this 100mm shot isolating those majestic mountaintops. I decided to spin the drone round me for some B-roll, showing off the sheer scale of where we were. And when it finished, the sun behind me, I knew I had another epic picture to take. And just look at that. Sunrises don't get much more epic than this, and that's about as much contrast as you can get for a subject on a background.
But whilst the other couples were taking their turn on the ski jump, I was exploring the wider vista with my telephoto lens. The view towards Arunzo in the east was superb, and a foggy haze was starting to form, which then led me to these incredibly hazy layers. I experimented with different colour grading on these two edits to try and accentuate the layers and the details beneath the haze. So let me know down in the comments which you prefer. A bit closer to where I was standing was this incredible gradient of rock, trees and haze. The light was getting a bit harsher, and it was time for a coffee before giving the drone another little flight and looking back towards Tre Cime and Refugio Arunzo on the left-hand side, which is next to the car park. The morning sun was just beautifully lighting up the south face of Tre Cime.
Pretty much done up here now, and the next part of the journey is going to be going back to the car to go and grab a load of food that we've packed and have some lunch. And we're going to stay up here for sunset, which is going to be fantastic. I hope get some nice light. But if I swing you around here, you can see we've got Tre Cime, and we're going to head round there up to the ridge past the second Refugio and shoot back this way to the north. Well, shoot the north face of Tre Cime, which is a shot I haven't done before, and I'm looking forward to getting. So we'll do sunset up there, come back, and then head back for a large cup of tea in bed because it's been a very, very long day so far. Back in the car park, and we're just taking it easy for the next few hours, having some food before we walk the other way to Tre Cime. And I've got my full spectrum camera out. What I'm trying to do is get some nice high contrast black and white using my clip-in 720 nanometer infrared filter from Case. Now, I'm just trying to get some of the patterns in the rocks, maybe some of the trees, because they go white at this wavelength of infrared photography. So I have no idea how to edit these infrared photos. So I may put this in the video and show you them, or I may not. But yeah, it's beautiful patterns, middle of the day, but high contrast black and white infrared photography upcoming.
I've got a couple of experiments here to show you. Left is a regular A7R5 and the right is a 720 nanometer shot. These are slightly edited raw images, but converted to black and white, you can start to see the difference. The sky is flat and the highlights dulled on the color conversion, but the infrared, the highlights really pop and some nice contrast in the sky. Adding in 590 nanometer filters into the mix and including some trees to test foliage color, the black and white conversions still show 720 nanometers to be the best, in my opinion. The normal conversion still just not popping at all. But as 590 nanometers still get some visible light, you can do a channel swapped color edit, bringing back that blue sky, the green trees turning yellow and the yellow trees turning white. I've really enjoyed playing around with the 720 nanometer filter, going for that Ansel Adams-esque look, getting contrast where you can't quite find it with a regular camera.
There we are, rocks as tripods. Well, if you hadn't already guessed where we are, because I've told you 5 times this morning, Tre Cime, look at it. And we're in blue hour at the moment. Sun has just set. Well, let's get golden hour getting in towards blue hour. It's about 2,400 meters up. The walk up after getting up so early this morning to go over there has almost killed me. My little hobbit legs are dying, and I think the walk down, my little hobbit knees might give way. But it's really worth it. We're actually up by a little war tunnel. So you get up to the plateau from the Refugio Locatelli, and then once you're up here, just come up the scree bank that's on your right hand side as you're walking up, and yeah, here we are. Get to the right to the top, and that's a great view to get this sort of S-bend. I'm not sure you can see it up towards here, up towards Tre Cime. Sorry, I'm a bit out of breath and all over the place at the moment. It's been a long day. But this time of year, the sun sets behind Tre Cime. That was what I was worried about, but I wanted to come and get this viewpoint anyway, for future reference and for this video. In the summer months, and maybe from sort of mid-spring to late summer, maybe even shorter than that, I'm not quite sure. But I'll check photo pills and I will put it up here, the dates where it sort of sets over there, which will then light up the front. And then what you'll get is light all over this side of the S-bend and the north face of Tre Cime, and then sort of darkness on the left-hand side. So you got that real good split. So not the right time of year to come, but nonetheless, beautiful. The color's just gone off the clouds. I've been obviously doing what I love in most videos, zooming in, mountains, beautiful sky, beautiful clouds. And yeah, I think we're almost done. We've got a lot of scree to walk down, so I'm gonna maybe take a couple more shots as we just roll into blue hour and get that lovely blue hour glow. And then, yeah, I think it's time to go home and have a bottle of local IPA. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go have a beer.
Oh, so you thought photos were coming? Well, I'll show you them in a second. First, I'm going to show you this sauna we've got in our apartment living room. I'm going to put the link to this place in the description down below because it's a cracking little apartment that we found in off-season for the same price as all the other hotels around Cortina. We're a bit further north, but this is excellent. Anyway, I'm going to have a beer. Here's some of the photos. This is my third visit to Tre Cime, and definitely not my last. It's probably my most favourite spot in the world to watch the sun come up and go down. Such a vast expanse of rugged nothingness with little old me in the middle. But first I'm going to take you back to 2020. We spent the night wild camping, shooting the Milky Way, and I did a holy grail 12.5-hour time-lapse from dusk till dawn. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Back to the present day, and this is the shot that I came for. I love the tones and colours, and it's available as a limited edition fine art print on my website. As you may have seen, I did get the drone up, but you have to watch out for helicopters, and they aren't flying low, it's you that's flying up high. But it was worth it though. Another wide-angle pano grabbing this Tre Cime vista, including the sun and the moon. I always keep my head on a swivel when out shooting. I got the one shot I wanted, but there's always plenty more to be had. Of course, it's easier to find them stood still with the drone rather than sweating my man boobs off hiking around the mountaintops. Behind where I was stood is Monte Paterno and Forcella Lavaredo, the dip on the right here. That last stretch up to the viewpoint looks a lot steeper from this angle, and I wish I'd known that beforehand. And looking the other way, this is where we camped in 2020 next to Refugio Locatelli. Okay, this next shot is sponsored by myself. Kaz and I own a little light painting business called Luminosify. We sell tubes like this one and decided to get a quick promo shot atop Forcella Lavaredo on our way back to the car. Having done a sunrise and sunset hike shoot in one day, it was time to pay our €60 toll and head home for dinner. And that beer you saw me with. it is our last day in the Dolomites, and after yesterday's massive hike around Cadini Di Misurina and Tre Cime, we were done this morning. So no sunrise. It's been coffee and croissants and sauna this morning. And for sunset, we've just driven down south of Misurina onto a bridge, roadside location because we ain't walking today. Some beautiful mountains, beautiful trees. I'm gonna set the camera up, take some photos with the camera, but mainly I'm gonna not use my legs because they aren't working anymore. And I'm going to use the drone. I'm gonna stick it up now and see what I get. But yeah, I mean, there's just beauty everywhere you look here. It's fantastic. I've only just realized looking back at Google Maps editing this video that this is Monte Cristallo, a filming location for Cliffhanger, a movie I'm assuming you've seen with Sylvester Stallone. This was a composition I had in mind before putting the drone up. Riverbed running through the middle and the bridge running side to side with the peaks in the background. It looked so good in that evening light. I wasn't finished with that bridge though. I knew there was a nice S-bend in there somewhere, but it wasn't too easy to shoot with the sun right behind setting quickly. Even with bracketing I overexposed the sky, so that's how it stayed in the edit. As the sun got lower, the sky started to produce some lovely colours, and these autumnal trees were the perfect foreground. Unfortunately, not all the orange ones were visible from where I was standing, so with another spare battery on the drone, it went back up looking south towards the mountains that surround Lago Di Braies, a location I've yet to visit on my 3 trips to the Dolomites. I do love it just as that sun hits the horizon, and you just start to get that beautiful glow. Oh wait, there are those orange larch trees. I finally found them. And this last shot, a beautiful panorama with that last of the day's light just filtering up through the valley slowly like syrup.
I've come to a spot to shoot through a valley up to Tre Cime, and I wanted to do some astro tonight. It's our last night in the Dolomites, and I thought, right, I'm going to go do some star trails because we didn't do a sunrise. However, the first time in 2 weeks, we've actually got clouds. So I've tried half an hour. I've taken some blue hour shots. I'll show you them now. If there's a star trail, you're going to see a star trail shot. But I'm not holding out much hope. Oh well. It's back to the apartment for some lasagna.
Oh, ye of little faith, Tony. It worked. It was really hard to see on the back of the camera, but I'm really glad I stuck with it. The star trails and some green air glow, and what a landscape. Beautiful. If you've made it this far into what is nearly a 30-minute video, well done. As a reward, you get to hear about the limited edition fine art prints available on my website. Each comes signed with a certificate of authenticity. Recently added to the collection are shots from Slovenia and the Tre Cime shot I showed you earlier. Also available is one-to-one Lightroom and Photoshop tuition, and coming soon is a landscape photography planning course. Learn at your own pace online. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you've subscribed, thank you so much for that too. Not sure what's planned for 2025 yet, but 2026, I'll be off to Antarctica. So, see you guys in the next one, and be excellent to each other.